Sometimes it's difficult to say what we need to. Even some simple things can be a threat in our conversation. For example, take this.
Presente simple.
This appeared in this text and it can affect your understanding. Do you want to know an easy way to talk and write this? Check it out. Canada Smart Mind is a Canadian school to help solving your doubts. You can help us by sending this video to your friends. In the description, you have a link to reach us. You have links for Canadian companies searching for employees outside of Canada. This is what grammar has to say.
We use the present simple to talk about actions we see as long-term or permanent. It is a very common and very important tense. Here, we are talking about regular actions or events. They drive to the office every day. She doesn't come here very often. The news usually starts at 6 every evening. Do you usually have bacon and eggs for breakfast?
Now, check the text ahead to improve your pronunciation.
India's limits on vaccine exports leave nation seeking new suppliers.
India's new limits on AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine exports has forced several Asian nations to find new suppliers. The country's Serum Institute is manufacturing the AstraZeneca vaccine. India decided recently to temporarily limit exports of the medicine as the nation itself faces rising demand for vaccines. The Serum Institute had planned to produce 90 million doses for the World Health Organization-backed COVAX vaccine program. The international program aims to deploy COVID-19 vaccines to poorer nations around the world. It was not immediately clear how many vaccine doses would be set aside for use in India. But Indian export restrictions could interfere with the COVAX program, which aims to serve 64 nations. Vaccine production problems already trouble the program. It also struggles from a lack of money. Wealthy countries are not providing enough financial support to COVAX, COVAX officials say. The shortage is likely to leave poor countries without necessary vaccine supplies and lead to increases in vaccine inequity. It could also make it more difficult for some nations to control COVID-19 as new virus versions appear. South Korea, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Vietnam are among countries to be hit by vaccine shipment delays under the COVAX program. Carlito Galvez is heading COVID-19 vaccine efforts in the Philippines. He told reporters that COVAX shortages mean the country's planned increase in daily vaccinations will be affected. In Indonesia, a health ministry official told Reuters that 10.3 million doses from COVAX were likely to be delayed until May. South Korea confirmed it would only receive 432,000 doses of the 690,000 it was promised and would likely not receive those until around the third week of April. The head of South Korea's COVID-19 vaccination effort, Kim Gi-nam, said the country was making efforts to secure more vaccines. In the Philippines, President Rodrigo Duterte decided to loosen government restrictions on private vaccine imports to make it easier for companies to get much-needed supplies. In Vietnam, officials have also sought help from private companies after the nation's COVAX supplies were cut by 40% and shipments now face long delays. India has not provided details on how long its export restriction will last. But UNICEF, a COVAX partner, recently said shipments are expected to restart by May. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said Tuesday that COVAX needed 10 million vaccine doses immediately to fill an urgent need. We are already in discussion with some countries, and there is some positive signal, he said. Data from UNICEF shows that India itself had received over a third of the nearly 28 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccines from COVAX so far, the most of any country. News that the largest amount of the program's Indian-made vaccines had never left India could add to criticism of the Indian government and COVAX. Africa is highly dependent on COVAX for its vaccines. Nearly all the 89 million doses the continent was to receive through COVAX in the coming weeks were AstraZeneca from India. Reuters reported that just 15 million doses had been received so far. We have good diplomatic relations with China and Russia, and we are asking if we can have access to their vaccines in April, said the Philippines' Carlito Galvez. Both the Philippines and Indonesia are currently depending heavily on vaccines from China's Sinovac Biotech. The Philippines and Vietnam have also approved Russia's Sputnik V vaccine, along with more than 50 other mainly developing nations. I'm Brian Lynn.
Words in this story dose: the amount of a medicine, drug, or vitamin that is taken at one time, inequity, the state of being unfair, or something that is unfair, positive, marked by or suggesting acceptance or approval, access, the right or ability to approach, enter, or use.
Leave your comments about this video, this way I could know what you like and what I can do better to help you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.